I'm back, y'all. Just had some technical difficulties. Continuation of the show. I'm back, y'all. Yeah, to start this thing over. Welcome to the Book of Al Jahid's podcast, y'all. You rock with your boy Gullah Jabiri. Once again. I just had to start the show, had to start the programming over. We're gonna pick up right back where we left off at. Yeah, like, subscribe. I just had to push that button up on board. Ghost couldn't get in. It was set up wrong or something. We're gonna get back into what we're going into. Set my screen back up. Who's getting into the cladistics, the cladistics and primatology. This is one of my favorite subjects, y'all. I love talking about the primate family. This is one of my favorite families because I love this family because I'm a primate. We primates. He was a primate. Something personal. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the reasons I love primatology. We part of that whole you know what I'm saying? We part of that whole order. So y'all back on. And goes, if you can get in, see if you can get in there, bro. I sent you the new show. I'm getting my sources back together. When we was on. We didn't even get to start. I'm gonna show you the videos too. Yeah, that's what we left off at, y'all. Was getting to talk about, monkey, monkey being just a common name or colloquial term, not a cladistic, uh, not in the cladistic matter. He says Facebook was simple, but yeah, but I wanted to get in about the primates, man. Five people watching right now. So with each other, we're on rocking with me late night. I was getting on the term monkey, how it's not even a scientific term. It comes from some children's storybook. If you look at the historical and modern terminology, they say right here later in the first half of the 20th century, the idea developed that there were trends in primate evolution that living members of the order could be derived in a series leading through quote unquote monkeys and quote unquote apes to humans. Monkeys thus constitute a grade on the path to humans and were distinguished from apes. They still grade constitute evolutionary grade. A grade is a taxon unit by level morphological, physiological complexity. The term is coined the British biologist Julian Huxley. That's what I don't even get into all that, but yeah, though. But this is the thick of what I was talking about my source right here. Now I was getting into it like uh before I cut the show off and continue to this show. As I was saying, logistically, humans, or simians, the simians, uh, also or other non-hominoid primates like the cereopithecioids and the platyremes. Those orders, the so-called New World monkeys and Old World monkeys, which don't even make sense. It's some old as Christopher Columbus ass terms that we still use. I want to get into this, right? Scientific classifications are now more often based on monophyletic groups. What's monophyletic? In cladistics, for a group of organisms, monophyly is the condition of being a clade that is a group of taxa composed only of a common ancestor and all of its lineal descendants. Monophyletic groups are typically characterized by shared derived characteristics, sensomorphies. And this and also Monophily is synonymous with clade. When you belong to a particular clade, when you related to a cluster, or you related to certain things that more so than others, from a phyllate, from a biological phyllate tree. Okay, hold on. Sure, it's right here. Okay, let me get back into this. Okay. Scientific classifications are now more often based on monophyletic groups. That is, groups consisting of all descendants of a common ancestor. The New World monkeys and the Old World monkeys are each monophyletic groups, but their combination was not. Since it excluded hominoids, apes and humans. So you can't group monkeys together without apes and humans. And said, that's what they're saying. New World monkeys and Old World monkeys are each monophyletic groups, but their combination was not, since it excluded hominoids, apes and humans. Thus, the term quote unquote monkey no longer referred to a recognized scientific taxon. Let me say it again. Thus, the term quote unquote monkey no longer referred to a recognized scientific taxon. So it's not even really a scientific term. That's why I'm saying we are simians. The non-hominoid primates that you're calling them monkeys are just other simians. You don't even got to use the term. But if you use the term, you only can substitute it with simian. The term monkey in the cladistic conversation or format. Because what clad is monkey? You only can fit it when you're describing simians, because it don't even make sense if you're talking about a clade. Because when you say the term monkey, you're saying it pretty loosely. Because even the hominoids, which are quote unquote apes, share a more common ancestor, a more recent common ancestor with cereopteryzoids, which are quote unquote misnomered Old World monkeys, than they do with the platyrines, because they come from a line, because clustered together, the cereopteryzoids and the hominidae are ordered together as the Catarrhines. The Catarrhines represent a sister group to the Platyrrhines, even before you even get to the old world monkeys. All of those are simians. And the simians are part of the Haplorhines, which are simians and tasers. They're part, that's a hierarch group, a nested hierarch group in the tree. That's why I say you're not only a human, you're a human. Let me look, let's look it up. Let me look up human real quick, even before I finish. Let me look up human. Look at the classifications. Go to the classifications. This is the scientific classifications. You never outgrow your classification. It's the kingdom, animal, you're an animal. Humans are animals. You either a plant, a fungus, or an animal. We're inanimate objects. You never stop being an animal. I don't give a damn how smart you think you are. I don't care how smart a human think they are, or where all these socialisms were created. Biologically, we're still animals. You never stop being that. You never left your kingdom. Because there's other living organisms that are not animals that distinguish you from that, distinguish you from a plant. But we are animals. We're part of that group. We're part of that group, that bigger group of animals. That then it splits off into different branches of family. That's what I'm talking about. I ain't saying all you motherfuckers say, oh, you might as well see your elephant. No, that's not even in the same clade. Stop playing. Y'all don't even understand this shit. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's all I was talking about. We had a human. First species, Homo sapien. That's what we are. We're Homo sapiens, humans. Even if we're human, that's like, you know, it's a close you should, but Homo sapiens. Genius, Homo, you that. Tribe, hominini, you that you share. The hominini you share in a group with the chimpanzees and the gorilla. You part of that cluster group, hominini, it's your tribe. Hominidae. No, this excludes gorilla, I'm sorry. The tribe hominidae is the cluster that you share with bonobos and chimps. We're that cluster. We come out of that. The homo, and even the Australopithecines, we all come out of that. But the Homo came out of that, some of the Australopithecines before you get the Homo erectus. And then the hominidae, this is the grouping of the you know, the humans, us, you know, all the extent, you know what I'm saying, subspecies and subgroups. I gonna say subgroups of humans and subgenuses of other human groups like Homo Australopithecines, archaic humans, all of them, including chimps, bonobos, all the extinct parts of that family, including gorillas. Gorillas is part of this family. The hominidae. Okay. In the hominidae, you got the hominidae in the hominidae, which is all apes. This is apes, the family. Subfamily is hominidae. You never stop being that. We're apes. You say we're apes, right? You say we apes, right? This is the hominidae. I went to the wrong thing. Okay. That's who we are, apes. Hominidae, whose members are known, just known. That don't mean that's necessarily that's the proper way it's supposed to be. Known as the great apes or hominids. You can use the ape, it's a colloquial term. Monkey so is too. But you only can substitute monkey with simian. What clade can you put monkey in? Humans or simians. You only can substitute simian or monkey with simian. Semiform, humans, simian. This grouping, most of this groupings are the organisms or the animals or the primates that you will call monkeys, which is not even a true taxonomic statement. You can't use that. Throw it away. If you don't want to call yourself a monkey, because if you use that, you got to call humans monkeys. Or hominids, some type of monkey, because from a monophyletic standpoint in cladistics. Primates never stop being primates. You say we primate, right? Mammalians, we never stop being mammals. All of these things are what we are. All of these things are what we are. When you say elephant and all that shit, it's where you stop the relationship with you and the elephant right here. When you right here at just being a mammal. At the different classes. You're not even the same class as the elephant. So that ain't even in the conversation. Cedric Ortega, Bobby Banger. Gordata, never stop being that. Never stop being an animal. Never left your kingdom. The kingdom that you're in. The kingdom in your scientific classification. In your nested hierarchy. It's like, the nested hierarchy is like a Russian doll. You know how you got the Russian doll, you got the big one, there's one that's slightly bigger, the one that's getting smaller and smaller. They all within this thing. It stays within its thing. That's the nature. That's the nature of the biological phyla. That's the nature of the taxa. That's the nature of the cladistics. Okay, let me go back. I'm more fun with the humans. You all be simians. Colloquial monkeys, might as well say, if you keep using that term. Okay, let me get it in again. Scientific classifications are now more often based on monophyletic groups. That is, groups consisting of all descendants of a common ancestor. The New World monkeys and the Old World monkeys are each monophyletic groups, but their combination was not, since it excludes hominoids, apes, and humans. See that? That's even incorrect, even how they said that. Apes and humans. Humans already are apes. You gotta, you could just say apes. But since colloquially, a lot of people don't originally, didn't used to think they themselves as apes, which now we know, but a lot of people don't know. They said it like that. Humans are apes. Humans are hominoids. We just a different type. We're our own type. We have our own genius. We're within our own genius. And then us, Homo sapiens sapien, is a branch within that genius. Because you had other extinct sub geniuses. Okay. Thus, right here we go. Thus, the term monkey, quote unquote monkey, no longer referred to a recognized scientific taxon. The smallest accepted taxon, which contains all the monkeys, is the infraorder Semimorphs or Simians. However, this also contains the hominoids, so that monkeys are, in turn of currently recognized taxon, non-hominoid simians. So I'm gonna say it again. However, this also contains the hominoids, so that monkeys are, in terms of the infraorder simian, in terms of current recognized taxa, or non-hominoid simians. That's what they should be called from a scientific standpoint. Colloquially and pop culturally, the term is ambiguous, and sometimes monkey includes non-human hominoids. In addition, frequent arguments are made for a monophyletic usage of the word quote unquote monkey from the perspective that usage should reflect cladistics. That's the argument that's being made amongst the primatologists and archaeologists. And I got some shit to share with y'all. Some shit to share with y'all. I'm gonna read this one first. Here we go. And yeah, it's a blog, but it's a blog written by an expert. How about that? They are the source. No matter what media on, everything gonna get me on a damn perfect fucking paper. They got the credentials. You even got publications on here. Name of my students and underline. This is a professor. Show you who wrote this. Let me show y'all who wrote this first. Y'all say, oh, he's pseudo. He ain't use no expert. You don't got to be no fucking privy brother, but it's an expert. He's a professional, no matter what platform he's on. Okay. Okay, right here, Michael Lawrence Wilson. My name is Michael Lawrence Wilson. I'm a professor in Department of Ecology, Evolution, and Behavior of University of Minnesota in the Twin Cities. I'm interested in what we can learn about human evolution. Ecology, evolution, and behavior. Okay, I'm interested in what we can learn about human evolution from studying the behavior in ecology or closest living relatives. My research focus and field studies of my research focuses on field studies of chimpanzees at Gobi National Park, Tanzania, with topics including aggression, territorial behavior, communication, and disease ecology. At Minnesota, I teach courses including sex evolution and behavior, human evolution, primate ecology, and social behavior. He's an expert. Okay. Get back into it. Damn. Back too far. Okay. Rehabilitating, quote unquote, monkey. Okay, he go in and say, think of a monkey. What do you see? I bet that most people picture a chimpanzee, most likely a juvenile chimpanzee like Curious George, who in books is always called a monkey. Even though adult chimpanzees look rather like small gorillas, they walk on all fours. They are nearly as big as people and they tremendously strong. Most people seem to think of chimps as cute little monkeys, quote unquote monkeys. The monkeys in a barrel of the monkeys in a barrel of monkeys or chimps. Do a Google Google images search for quote unquote monkey and you will get some pictures of proper monkeys, but you will also get lots of chimps. What he mean by proper monkeys or whatever? He's talking about non-hominoid simians, or what colloquially people will call a monkey. Anyone who knows something about primates, though, knows that chimpanzees are not monkeys. They are apes. And what are apes? They are a group of primates from the old world, Africa and Eurasia, that don't have tails. There used to be many more species of them many years ago, but now we just have 20 odd species, most of which are different kinds of gibbons, plus salamanes, orangutans, gorillas, chimpanzees, bonobos, and humans. For many years, people used the word quote unquote ape to mean the group of old world primates that did not have tails, but that weren't humans. That is all of the apes except us. Because you still got tailless cerapithozoids that are colloquially called monkeys, like the Barbary macaque and the Sulawesi macaque. And you still have like less uses of the tail, even with the cerapithozoids as well. Like I use their tail way less or more so than the quote unquote new world monkeys or the Platyrrhenes, who are more a basal group, who even they're more bigger size, the bigger size Platyrrhenes out that group use their tail as a more prehensile, it's like a fifth limb. For many years, people used the word quote unquote ape to mean the group of old world primates that did not have tails, but that weren't humans. That is all of the apes except us. See this chart here? Maybe I can see it. Right here is showing all the new world monkeys, old world monkeys, monkeys excluding apes. But as you see right here, we're more closer related as the Catarrhines, which is this is the Catarrhines. This is these all of these groups will be the Catarrhines. All of these will be the Catarrhines. Be a cluster will represent a sister cluster of the Platyrrhenes. These groups. But from the ancestor perspective, these groups one time would have clustered with each other. The ancestral groups, and they would colloquially you would call a monkey. These simians. These the lemurs, shepterines. Yeah, tasers and all that shit too. Then I'm sure that yeah, it's tasers right here. Can't really see it. They're the haplorines. Mm. Shit. Damn. Big as hell. Here we go. Okay, more recently, biologists have argued that when we classify living things, we should use only monolithic groups, groups in which all members are descendant of a common ancestor. Since humans evolved from apes, then strictly speaking, we are apes. So what about monkeys? If the term quote unquote monkeys does not include apes, then it is no longer a monolithic group. A good monolithic group should include all the descendants of a common ancestor. In the jargon of taxonomy, old world monkeys and apes are classified together as catarrhines, downward noses. These are the downward noses simians. While monkeys from the New World, using this old ass Christopher Columbus shit, the New World, Old World shit, from the New World, North and South America are classified as the Platyrrhines, flat nose simians. These are good monophyletic groups, but nobody uses jargon like this on an ordinary language, which is true. I agree. That's why it's silly to even put this in science and throw the whole word away, even in scientific conversation, because the colloquial shit is stupid. But nobody uses jargon like this in an ordinary language. If we translate this term into ordinary language, we get old world monkeys, which to be monophyletic must include the apes and new world monkeys. So apes are all monkeys, which make you and me monkeys. And any man whose sibling have reproduced is a monkey's uncle. Bobby Banger, Cedric Ortega. That's what I'm talking about in that sense. Colloquial, if you're trying to put it from, if you're using that colloquial term and putting it into this cladistic sense. Monophyletic monkeys. That's what we are. We're monophyletic monkeys. Or just use the term simian if you don't like the term monkey. Stop using it in this scientific conversation. Keep it over there in the silly circle. So I suggest that we rehabilitate the word quote unquote monkey as a perfectly good word to use describing chimpanzees and all other apes. So I suggest that we rehabilitate the word quote unquote monkey as a perfectly good word to use in describing chimpanzees and all other apes, including us. Apes are just one particular branch of the monkey family tree. If we substitute this up where we're simian. When I discussed this in class this spring, one of my students complained that officially classifying apes as monkey would rob him of the pleasure of correcting strangers at the zoo when they go around calling gorillas and orangutans quote unquote monkeys. To me, though, this seems like a happy case in which ordinary language fits perfectly, will both good biology fits perfectly well mean like a happy case in which ordinary language fits perfectly well with good biology. This doesn't always have to be the case. I expect it will take people a while longer to get used of the idea that birds are dinosaurs. People gotta get used to humans being fucking monkeys. And that, monophyletically speaking, we are all fish. From the monolith, because tetrapeds are fish. They came from tetrapeds, not necessarily fish, but they came from fish. Then they became amphibians. I got to do with no elephants and all that shit. Elephants are branched from us as individuals, us as our clade. You know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, the elephant would be a fish too, from this standpoint, from a monolithic standpoint, but that wouldn't make us an elephant or all them other random animals or whatever. That's from a polylithic relationship or paraphyletic relationship. Okay. Let me go back real quick. Another one I got. You even heard it. I heard Simian. They even Simian too. Simian is synonymous with anthropoids. You can say anthropoids or you can say simian. You see, look, all these are the synonymous terms: simian, monkeys, anthropoids. Humans is in this cluster. Hominidia, Catarines. Get back up here, okay. Okay, another source out of this. See, this the real shit right here. It's back up all it. Back up all this stuff I was talking about. You don't get into all this though. This is more lengthy right here. Okay. He said, take your ass. You're a fool, huh? I'm saying apes or monkey, deal with it. But I'm speaking from a cladistic perspective. You try to put that colloquial term in a cladistic format. This right here, this from show you what this source. This is a blog. I'm gonna show you who wrote the blog. To show you this ain't it's no journalist. This right here, paleo Viscardi, zoologist, zoology curator. He's a zoology curator at the he used to be at the Horniman Museum, Grant Museum Zoology in London. That's why it's crossed out. That's what it used to be. But now he's the curator at the National Museum of Ireland. And this is his perspective. It makes pretty sense, you know what I'm saying? It makes pretty good sense. But I'm gonna get into an actual expert too, actual primatologist. Yeah, I might think it's crazy, but she's an actual primatologist. She has a master in research in primatology. You know what I'm talking about? Erica Matthews. You might know her as her YouTuber name, but she has a degree as Gut Sick Gibbons, also named Erica Matthews. You can look her up on Facebook. I follow her on Facebook. She's an actual primatologist, master in research, and she's working on her PhD masters in biological anthropology. Or apes, monkeys. Morton Robin writes a fun piece in the Lay Scientist the other day on the incorrect use of the term monkeys to describe apes, triggered by an article by Graham Smith for Daily Mail in Martin words. A great crime against the of the pageantry is the progress, and it's time for someone to draw a line. So as a pedant with a professional interest in the issue I am taking my stand to help ensure that the miscarriage of uh, pay, patent justice doesn't occur. Okay, I'm gonna get into some Carl Linnaeus. And Carl Linnaeus, he kind of created the you know what I'm saying, the structure that we use now, like phonetic, you know what I'm saying, in the phonetic tree. It was crazy. He was a creationist. So that's why now today, like a lot of the words we use and shit, describe this shit is kind of a little off, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people still use that traditional shit, you know what I'm saying? But he created the nested hierarchies. That's stuck. That's something that's still used. That can't nobody get around. You are multiple things. You're not just one thing. You fall up under that order, that clad. You all of that shit that fall up under that. You never stop being an animal. You never stop being a chordata. You never stop being a primate. You never stop being a simian, which only thing that monkey can fit in the cladistic sense, which is a colloquial term anyway. I say throw the shit away. You never stop being a hominoid, which is the actual term of you know what I'm saying, which is the term that you can transfer as ape, even though ape is not really a scientific term. Ape and monkey come from the same damn shit, come from the damn children's storybook. Fucking monkey the ape. Motherfucker's name was Monkey the Ape. That's what this fucking term monkey and ape come from. Ain't even a scientific term. Just like Cedric Ortega say about the police. If the police seen you, if the dude say black, you gonna say he's a black man. You know, he say that if you seen the common ancestor of hominidae and the Cerapitosaurs, you would say that's the damn monkey, colloquially. But you know, there was just a the Catarrhine ancestor, the non-hominoid Catarrhine ancestor of hominoids and Catarrhines. But apes, okay, nested hierarchies. Apes are monkeys in the same way that monkeys are primates. Humans are apes, and I am a human. It's called a nested hierarchy. This means that all apes, look at it, see how it fits in primate, monkeys, which is simians, which it should be simians, hominidae, which is apes, humans, which is our population, homo, that got various branches in itself. Then you got extinct, and extant, and me as an individual. This means that all apes are monkeys, but not all monkeys are apes or hominidae. That's true. The Cerapitosaurs, which we share a clade with, as Catarrhines. We share a clade with them as Catarrhines, as downward nose simians. No, the Cerapitosaurs are not hominids. They're our sister group. They're their own parv order, their own grouping, but we share a grouping with them. In the Simian family, we're more closely related to them than we are to the Platyrhines. We have their own deep ancestry. They're more basal. The Catarrhines that we became is a sister group of the Platyrhines, quote unquote, New World monkeys. Contrary to the title of otherwise rather good book, 99% ape, How Evolution Adds Up. Okay. This nested hierarchical system is the mainstay of biological taxonomy. Each individual fits in its species, with the possible exception of hybrids. each species in this genus, each genus in its family, and so on. It's how Linnaeus organized things back in the 1750s, and it works remarkably well. So that aspect of Carl Linnaeus works still. But still a couple of was the flaws in some of his work because it's outdated. He's like, like Charles Darwin. Came up with the first shit, but he came up with something that stayed in this there that the nest, the hierarchy was stuck. It's actually a bit more complex than that. It's a whole nother subject though. We're gonna get in and say why do nested hierarchies work in biology though? Linnaeus' system work well in biology because species share varying degrees of similarities depending on when they branched off from a common ancestor. So they in that order. In that order. The groups with most shared characteristics can be clumped together. You hear that? The groups with that most shared characteristics can be clumped together. That's a bit tricky to explain in a few words, so here's an example diagram. He's using the colloquials for you to keep it simple for you. He ain't even using the scientific term. And if you're using the scientific terms, you'll be a monkey. Look at the tree. Look at the branches from the monolithic perspective. Right here, where it says monkeys. This is the sister branch of the tasers. These what you call these in the scientific. See, I know the scientific terms by heart. This cluster here will represent with the tasers and what they right here, what the dots say the monkeys. That group together would be the haplorhines, or or you call the haplorhines. Right here where it says monkeys, this would be the simian branch where it's substituting. That's why you only can. That's the only place you can fit it, because these creatures or organisms, according to the fossil records, these organisms here, which was the ancestors or the common ancestor of the Platyrrhines and the Catarrhines right here, who are the ancestors of old world monkeys, which you call the Cerapithozoids, quote unquote. Cerapithozoids literally means tailed ape, which is the sister group in the Catarrhini family or the Catarrhini family with the hominoids, which is other apes in us or other hominoids in us humans. But that ancestor, so you can't say apes don't come from monkeys, because this ancestor from the fossil records, if you fucking seen it, from a colloquial standpoint, no matter if it's extinct or extinct, you will say it's a fucking monkey. I got you, bro. I ain't get excited. I'm just talking shit too. We just talking shit. That's how we play chess. We played chess like this in jail, man. We used to play chess in jail. We used to talk shit to each other like this. This is all fun and this sport. This is sport. I'm talking shit like Michael Jordan on the court. This ain't no. I'm gonna send a link in. I'm gonna send a link in the chat, man. I forgot to send a link. My bad. I'm gonna send this link in the chat. I invited him goes, and he ain't even. I don't know what happened to this. What happened to the malfunction? You know, this Zoom link real quick, y'all. Real quick. There we go. Link is in there whenever. But yeah, though, all I'm saying is this. If you've seen this, if you've seen these common ancestors based on the fossil records, you would say these was monkeys from a colloquial sense. Even though I just call it, they could just simply say simians. That's what I say from a scientific standpoint. And then here, though, you got the Catarrhini. All of these are Catarrhinis. All of these are Catarrhinis or Catarrhinis. Need to branch off to the Platyrrhinis. The Platyrrhinis, these are basal in their taxon, even though they go into, contemporary time. The lineage is going to contemporary time, but a lot of the extinct fossils are more morphologically built like the ancestrals. And then they have a sister branch, which became the Catarrhinis. And if you've seen these common ancestors, which be the common ancestor to the quote unquote old world monkeys or the Cerapithecines and the hominoids, if you've seen their common ancestors in these populations, you will colloquially say these were monkeys. You see right here, we got apes. Of course, these are hominoids, even though ape is not, that's even not really a scientific term either. Like I said, it should come from a German kid's book. Okay, the groups that form after a branching event are called clades. And the members of the group can correctly be referred to by the name of any clade that they are part of. This is known as monophyly. Monophyly, which means one leaf. If a name is given to a group of species that are not all related in this way, it will either be polyphyletic group, like the elephant, many leaves, or a paraphyletic group, like the elephant, because we are mammals and all that shit. That's like the elephant and being related to shit like that, or the lion and all that other shit. Or the paraphyletic group, including leaves, Again, this can be confusing to describe, so here's other diagrams. These legit diagrams too. See how they got that? Yeah, I got the Mammalia. And then here, that Viries. These are like some type of animals that lay eggs, but still kind of like reptilian, you know what I'm saying, had reptilian features at the same time before it even got to the mammals. Okay, polyphyletic and paraphyletic. We're gonna get into the differences. Polyphyletic and paraphyletic groups are not particularly scientifically informative, since they include or exclude members of clades with no evolutionary justification. That's the outdated shit. This means that scientists prefer to base names for groups on clear monophyletic clades, Simians, where you only can fit monkey in. If you don't like it, throw the fucking motherfucker away. That's a scientific argument for considering apes to be monkeys. That's the scientific argument. But monkeys isn't a scientific term. So I could be loud. Ain't nobody here. My wife and kids are gone. I could be loud tonight. But monkey isn't a scientific term. I agree. That's my whole point. That's my whole point. Fuck it. Fuck the ape. Fuck the monkey. Just use the scientific term. Just to say my fellow simian. That creature's my fellow simian. We belong in the same clade. Some of them are more related to me than others. But monkey isn't a scientific term. Aha! I must make it clear that I have been using the term monkey as a direct match for the term semiform. That's simian, which includes Old World and New World monkeys, lesser apes, and great apes in the discussion above, but is that valid? Obviously, I argue that it is, since I've been using it. The question should be, why wouldn't it be valid? The only logical, robust answer that I can think of is that it wouldn't be valid if people don't commonly use the two terms to refer the same thing. To use the same term to refer to the same thing. So do people use the term monkey to refer to apes? The simple fact is that this whole discussion has been raised because Graham Smith published an article in which he referred apes as monkeys, which demonstrated that monkey is indeed used as a generic term to refer to apes. Another example is Terry Pratchett's This World. It's like, that's a graphic novel. where the librarian who happens to be an orangutan dislikes being referred as a monkey, which often regularly it may be the fiction, but it seems reasonable to suggest that it reflects the use of terminology of real people. In addition, it would suggest that the helpful for common terms for the biological group to directly reflect the scientific terminology as such as possible. Since that it improves the ability of scientists to communicate with the non-specialist audience. Let me say that again. In addition, it would suggest that it is helpful for common terms for biological groups to directly reflect scientific terminology as much as possible. Since this improves the ability of scientists to communicate with the non-specialist audience. So even if monkey didn't mean the same as semiforms, which it seems to, it probably should otherwise. It probably should. Otherwise, monkeys has no scientifically meaningful analog, since it would refer to paraphyletic and therefore arbitrary grouping. Case closed. I think that the argument is pretty robust, and I'll stand by it until I hear something convincing enough to change my mind. That said, I will add an important caveat. Monkey is a generic term, and when referring to chimpanzees, gorillas, gibbons, orangutans, and humans, the more specific term of ape should be used for clarity. After all, you don't refer to your pet as a pet carnivora or budgie as a theropod, because generic terms omit a lot of additional information. Also, so although apes are monkeys, they are still apes, and that means something. It does. Because there's your simians, and you are your hominids, which belongs to the simian family, but only can fit colloquially, if you try to put that in the colloquial sense, will be fit in with monkey, if you look at it from a monophyletic standpoint. Oh, I heard you go in the discourse more. I like this one even better. I ain't really sure this one. I read this one, but I ain't sure this one. This one, because he really going in on this one. Helio Viscardi, Italian brother, Ireland Museum, museum curator, Ireland Museum of Natural History. Tired of monkeying around? Are apes monkeys? Yes, apes are monkeys, and therefore so are we. I've said it before, and I've given my reasons. Other biological types have said it and given their reasons. Yet a crime against pedantry rages unabated. There are some important questions in life, and this probably isn't one of them, but it seems to have generated a lot of debate. So it's clearly a topic that needs solution. Why wouldn't apes be monkeys? If apes are indeed monkeys, as I suggested, why do so many intelligent and knowledgeable people insist that apes are not monkeys? I think that perhaps that it's apes didn't used to be monkeys. I think that perhaps it is because apes didn't used to be monkeys. Yet let me explain. Taxonomy is science of naming things that was established as a discipline by Carl Linnaeus in 1700s. Evolutionary theory was not part of the science at that time. So this before Darwin. Evolutionary theory was not part of science at that time. Carl Linnaeus was a creationist. So there was, okay. So there was no real understanding of why species form recognizable groups which share common features, but those shared features prove useful of classification. He was on to something. He wasn't always on point, but he was on to something. Linnaeus and the taxonomists that followed him in his footsteps went about classifying things based on presence or absence of physical behavior characteristics, defining apes and monkeys. According to Linnaeus' system of classification, monkeys were medium small size and had tails. The old shit, the basics. Whereas apes were medium to large size and didn't have tails. Simple, apes were not monkeys except the Barbary ape macaque, lineage 1758, which was quite obviously a monkey despite being medium-sized and having no tail. Spot the problem. Phylogenetic systematics. In the 1950s, taxonomist called Willie Hingen had the bright idea of applying an understanding of evolutionary relationships to taxonomic classification. He called this phylogenetic systematics. It was an idea that made sense because rather than basing groups on arbitrary characters that might be open to the convergent evolution, like becoming tailless, species could be grouped together in something called a clade. According to common ancestry, what is nifty? What a nifty idea! It is. It really is. However, this idea has taken time to get established since identifying clades means complying and analyzing a huge amount of data. See, motherfuckers being lazy. They want to use monkey still. They want to use ape still. They don't want to use the scientific term. If you don't like it, call a human a monkey. However, the idea has taken time to get established since the identifying clade means applying and analyzing a huge amount of data. It wasn't until computers became capable of taking on some of the workload that phylogenetic systematics or cladistics became properly established. In the real terms, this meant that progress was slow until the mid-late 1990s. See that computer running cladistic analyzer can tell us if apes or monkeys. You guess what it's saying? Since cladistics has taken off, there has been an effect to marry linear cladistics, let's call Linnaeus, linear classifications terms with evolutionary classifications where possible. To limit the confusion caused in discussing groups of organisms, there are rules in the form of phylocodes, but they don't really address common names associated with clades. As a result, this revolution in taxonomy has been largely ignored by the public and indeed by scientists that involved in the process and indeed by scientists that involved in the process. Read it again. As a result, this revolution in taxonomy has been largely ignored by the public and indeed by scientists not involved in the process. So scientists that ain't involved in the process have been ignoring it. The old shit. Nevertheless, it directly impacts on how biological terms are used. In this instant, the issue impact on whether apes should be considered monkeys. In fact, that they share a clade suggests that they should. Should I say it again? In this instance, the issue impacts on whether apes should be considered monkeys. The fact that they share a clade suggests that they should. But is monkey a valid term anyway? I don't think so. We could just say simian. Whether monkey nor ape or proper scientific terms, but both are commonly used in scientific literature, so they should have formal recognition. They should have formal recognition as valid biological terms. That means that they should be aligned with defining clades, since how taxonomy is down these days. In this case, the semiform, which is synonymous with simian, semiform, I mean the simian forms, the simian primates, the simian form primates, or monkeys, and hominida, or apes. Look, let me say it again. Neither monkey nor ape are proper scientific terms, but both are commonly used in scientific literature. So they should have formal recognition as valid biological terms. If you're using these terms, that means that they should be aligned with definable clades, since that's how taxonomy is done these days. That's how we do it these days. That's how they teaching. That's what they teaching the boys in college these days. In this case, this how the young sister, the primatologist, like it or love it, she's an expert. She has a master's degree in research in primatology. She's a YouTuber though. No, she didn't write the peer review paper and all that. She went to school though. She got the degree. She chose to talk about it on YouTube. Get the views up to pay for a master's. Then the papers and the teaching starts and all that. It's like the other teacher I showed, the other professor who was an associate professor. Associate professor is not a high ranking professor, but associate professor is a PhD student on their way to become the professor. They still teach. They still qualified. They got degrees. The monkey all the way down, sister, she had a degree. She's an associate professor. Yes, it still means something. Neither monkey nor ape are proper scientific terms, like we're saying, it's not. But both are commonly used in scientific literature. So they should have formal recognition as valid biological terms. The means that they should have aligned with definable clades, since this how taxonomy is down these days. In this case, the semiforms, clades, or monkeys, and hominidia for apes. The semiforms, or monkeys, and hominidia for apes. Here you got a little the clay. Talk about the clays right here. They're showing what shares, what forms of clay. Simple chart. By including apes in the monkey clade, we create a valid term. Old world monkeys and new world monkeys became the non-ape monkeys. The non-ape monkeys. Monkeys are apes. New world and old world monkeys, or the non-ape monkeys. Bobby Banker. But fuck the term. We don't gotta use the term. We could say it's just non-hominoid simians. We could just say the serial pithecioids and the platyrenes are non-hominoid simians. That'd be proper if you don't want to be called a monkey. Common usage of biological terminology may be slow to follow us. Common usage of biological terminology may be slow to follow the science. But if it wasn't related to taxonomy, we still be calling whales fish. See, shit changes. Shit is changing now, which is fascinating. Which is a fascinating story in its own right. Certainly, there would be no justification for denying that apes. Certainly, there would be no justification for denying that apes were monkeys if people were not referring back to traditional taxonomy, because the term would be defined by the usage alone and people who do call apes monkeys. It's like, yeah, it's that, because now a lot of people say, oh yeah, maybe people was right, but you got to tell them. If you call a chimp a monkey, call him a human monkey, you gotta say, yeah, we're monkeys, but we're hominid monkeys. With an ape monkeys. Yeah, we're monkeys, but we're apes. Yeah, we simians, but we're hominoids. In fact, it only seems to be in English that a distinction is made between apes and monkeys, huh? In fact, it only seems to be in English that a distinction is made between apes and monkeys. In common terminology, and even in the terms have long been used interchangeably. Of course, a hardliner can argue that we should just ditch the term monkey and stick with proper scientific terminology. I agree with the logic, with the logic from a scientific perspective. But culturally, it would be a bit much to expect the public to toe the scientific hard line. And we should, even though I agree with that, but us in our circle, we should push that scientific hard line because we know better. We can have that discussion. We can talk about that, We scientifically literate. We can push the scientific hard line. We can teach the people. We can teach the people the correct terms. We can tell it like it is. Apes or monkeys, except for monkeys. All monkeys ain't apes. True. If you don't want to use the term, don't use it. Just use hominids and simians. Non-hominoid simians, Cirripithecines, Platyrrhines, Catarrhines. Downward nose, flat nose, dry nose primates, wet nose primates. Got the streptorhines, got the haplorhines. Which is all your dry nose primates, which include tasers and all the other simians. Two groups form out of the haplorhines, the taser forms and the simian forms. And then that common ancestor is a sister group to the lemur forms, the streptorhines, streptorhines. If the term monkey is to be retained, to remain, if the term monkey is to remain, it should at least be meaningful, which refers to cladistics definition in exclusive of apes, as explained in more detail in the video below. It's our boy, Aaron Raw. It's our boy. It's your boy, It's your boy, Bobby. See what your boy talking about. This is one of my favorite. This is my favorite video.
In an earlier video, I listed many of the taxonomic traits identifying humans as primates. In another video, I also explained why we're more specifically classified as a species of apes, but I deliberately omitted an intermediate stage between those two apparent levels because it's one that evokes so much resistance. It really requires a separate discussion just for that one trait alone.
Check out his page, Aaron Raw. He dope. He break down the cladistics and the phylotrees, whole series.
The fact that we're apes can now be verified just as easy. For a while, most people thought the word ape referred only to extant non-human monkeys, also known as great apes. There was no consideration given to lesser apes nor any of the many ancient apes we kept finding fossils for. Mainstream science sources are just now starting to realize that the word ape means a lot more than just chimpanzees, gorillas, and orangutans, and that it includes a few extinct hominids that are more humanoid than any of them. So there was a problem with our old method of classification, and it had to be fixed. Over the last 250 years, we've kept patching up the old 7-layer system by adding a suborder, infraorder, superfamily, subgenus, and so on, so we can't even tell how to rank the labels anymore. That's when we figured out there are no ranks, so we dropped the labels and found a new system, one that isn't so arbitrary. See, the problem with
new system, new system.
It's usually based on morphological similarity and sometimes on opinion. There's often no way to prove
the curriculum changes.
Correct, because you didn't rely on the rigid set of rules.
You would notice. You got to be in school to know that. That's why I follow them boys that's in school.
Now we have a better understanding of what an ape is, and that our common ancestry actually would have been classified as such, and so should we.
So should we be?
This rule of monophyletic hierarchy should also apply to everything, including the race of cat people, the science fiction comedy.
You trying to be funny?
Don't get it? We
know how mankind evolved from apes?
Yeah, I know that.
He evolved from cats. His ancestors were cats. Descended from cats. He is a cat.
Okay. Like these. Hey, you monkey get off the floor. Got no style or sophistication. Oh, I'm sorry. Unbelievable.
Creationists try to ridicule evolution through the implication that we came from monkeys, and those who know the difference are quick to point out that apes are not monkeys. For one thing, apes don't have tails, but there's more to it than that. For example, we can tell that a Barbary ape isn't really an ape, it's a tailless monkey. The same way we can tell a glass snake isn't really a snake, it's a legless lizard. There are so many distinctions that even if we found a snake that had legs, and we have, we'd still know it was a snake. But snakes are a subset of the order Squamata, that means lizard. If snakes evolved from lizards, do they stop being lizards at the moment they become snakes? And when exactly is that moment?
When is that moment?
This is another confusing convention of Linnaean taxonomy, which is corrected by Cladistics. Paraphyletic groups shouldn't exist in phylogenetics.
When is a monkey? When does a monkey stop being a monkey? When does a simian stop being a simian?
Category. Instead, existing branches split into successive subsets for each monophyletic sharing a common set from which they can diverge.
Monophyletic.
This means snakes will always be a subset of lizards, and apes
Always.
still be monkeys.
Monkeys.
Monkeys can't
Say it, Raw. Aaron. That's our boy. Aaron.
Now I've done it. I've annoyed both creationists and scientists too. But I intend to show that our old interpretations are incorrect. That not only was the ancestor of apes actually a monkey after all, but that they never stopped being monkeys,
Yeah.
and neither did
We.
I intend to show that
Never stop being a monkey. Never stop being a simian. But I still say fuck the term, gotta use it. But you still using it. The colloquial, the pop culture still using it. Don't say, oh, we're a monkey. You ain't including hominids and all the other shit.
For centuries, taxonomists taught us that the clan of monkeys was divided into two branches. Some primatologists prefer to say New World monkeys and Old World primates because they don't want people to confuse
And cross it out.
They look at them as sister groups and consider that Old World monkeys refer only to Cercopithecidae. This is a relatively modern group, but we know apes didn't evolve from them. They certainly didn't evolve from New World monkeys either. That's a whole different lineage. So by this definition, apes are not monkeys and aren't descended from them. But polyphyletic groups wouldn't exist in an evolutionary lineage either. Just as two Latin-based languages couldn't be independently derived from a non-Latin template, neither could separate sets of monkeys have come from a source that wasn't its For centuries, taxonomists taught us that the clan of monkeys was divided into two branches. Some primatologists prefer to say New World monkeys and Old World primates because they don't want people to confuse apes with monkeys. They look at them as sister groups and consider that Old World monkeys refer only to Cercopithecidae. This is a relatively modern group, so we know apes didn't evolve from them. They certainly didn't evolve from New World monkeys either. That's a whole different lineage. So by this definition, apes are not monkeys and aren't descended from them. But polyphyletic groups wouldn't exist in an evolutionary lineage either. Just as two Latin-based languages couldn't be independently derived from a non-Latin template, neither could separate sets of monkeys have come from a source that wasn't itself a monkey also.
I think God designed us in his image, but I also think God is a monkey.
Imagine you get to interview the Night Industries 2000 from the TV show Knight Rider, and you tell it you've never had a conversation with a car before. But Kit argues that he is not a car because he is smarter and generally better than any car because mere cars can't talk like he can. Of course, you know that even a sentient automobile is still an automobile. So if you can't determine a rigid definition of exactly what that is, perhaps you can still prove the point if Kit will admit that being manufactured as a General Motors Pontiac Firebird Trans Am means it can only be a car. People deny their monkeyhood for the same reason, and that excuse can be used in the same way.
You denying your monkeyhood, you denying your monkeyhood about Bobby Banger. You denying it.
Systematic classifications for passages by comparing collectors to determine derived incentive
denying your
That
simian hood.
determines the clade, because phylogenetic hierarchy is the only consistent criteria for classifying diverse life forms stemming from an evolutionary lineage. And that is evidently where we came from.
Ah, I see. So you mean we've traveled in time, but not in space? Listen, you semi-evolved simian, go climb a tree, will you? Don't bang your head together, Four Eyes.
No. Your monkey has got it right. You jumped forward many millions of years in time whilst retaining the same position in space.
Let's start with the definition of primates and then add the traits of each successive stage from there on. We begin with a pair of subsets and a transitional link between them, one that is almost a monkey. When referring to basal monkeys ancestral to ourselves, most scientists prefer to use the word anthropoid, one of two acceptable names for them. Definition of primates and then add the traits of each successive. Let's start with the definition of primates and then add the traits of each successive stage from there on. We begin with a pair of subsets.
You got the wet nose, like the lemurs.
When referring
Dry
to basal
nose,
monkeys ancestral
the
to ourselves,
Haplorhinius,
most scientists prefer to use the word anthropoid, one of the acceptable names for them. Because regardless of phylogeny, scientists generally consider it incorrect or even offensive to refer to humans and other apes as monkeys. That's a colloquial term, not a scientific one. And it's paraphyletic, meaning all anthropoids except apes, just like apes used to mean all. Scientists generally consider it incorrect or even offensive. When referring to basal monkeys ancestral to ourselves, most scientists prefer to use the word anthropoid, one of two acceptable names for that clade. Because regardless of phylogeny, scientists generally consider it incorrect or even offensive to refer to humans and other apes as monkeys. That's a colloquial term, not a scientific one. And it's paraphyletic, meaning all anthropoids except apes, just like ape used to mean all hominoids except humans. But saying all of them except for us is a Freudian admission that we already know we are one of them. Besides, the words anthropoid and hominoid both imply possession of human characteristics, so humans could hardly be excluded from either taxon. We're just beginning to realize this, and it takes time to accept unconventional or uncomfortable truths. If you go to the right school in North Carolina, you'll learn the new standard, one which admits humans are monkeys in the literal sense. But in Texas, folks will say that chimpanzees belong to the Congo family, even though this was shown to be an error at least a decade ago. Polyphyletic omissions attempting to exclude basal simiforms to avoid embarrassing associations are unscientific and unacceptable, being reliant on subjective criteria. Common dictionary definitions are similarly inconsistent, incomplete, contradictory, and inapplicable. So are the absurd aspects of some layman's classification. Obviously, we can't properly identify anything by single traits, nor can we say what something is by listing what it is not. Traits that are usually present still aren't definitive unless they are shared by all members. So the only way to properly classify anything is according to the collective characters common to everything already accepted to that category without making exceptions for certain ones. Consequently, Cladistics has rendered some colloquial words like fish and reptiles virtually meaningless because there is inconsistent phylogeny as things that are gray.
Did you hear that shit? Did you hear that, Cedric Ortega? You hear that? Fish ain't even a consistent term. Turtle. Oh, Melissa, you can't use that for shit with all these scientific conversation.
Already accepted to that category without making exceptions for certain ones. Consequently, Cladistics has rendered some colloquial words like fish and reptiles virtually meaningless.
Reptile, yeah.
Inconsistent phylogeny
Can be
as
broken down.
things that are gray. We must either assign consistent definitions or drop these words from our vocabulary of scientific terms. And it's important to note that while there are English words to distinguish apes from monkeys, other languages don't see this division.
Don't see
The
it.
Latin word for monkey is simian, and that is the other name of the clade to which apes and all other monkeys belong. At the root of the simian family tree is another transitional taxon, one which is universally recognized as a monkey and is described as such even by primatologists.
Look, even by primatologists, common ancestor, the anthropopedia, right here. Because anthropopedia is just another common term for semiform. This common ancestor right here, where my mouse at, the common ancestor right here. will be colloquially called a monkey. Apes came out of that. Those ancestors are apes, like it or not. All of them included. I ain't just saying apes alone. Of course, you got your details of the sub-branch shit. But you can't say it don't come from that if it's the ancestor a long time ago. It just share lineage, it just share you know what I'm saying, common roots with contemporary simians that it's related to through that common ancestor, which still fits into a clade or clad.
Ethologists. Thus, this form represents the mother of all monkeys as well as their descendants in the Nile. The first division within that clade is between parapithecids, a diverse group of monkeys which are now all extinct, and the clade that remains, forming the next division. Here we have another transitional species bridging the morphological gap between the basal forms of both New World and Old World monkeys.
Well, man are sort of evoluted from the Old World monkeys.
Did you hear that, my friend? Old world monkey. Hey, you and I aren't even descended from good American monkeys.
In some respects, New World monkeys are actually older and more primitive than Old World monkeys. And contrary to popular opinion, Old World monkeys aren't a sister clade to apes because they're not limited to circumfits. The fossil record reveals yet another set of catarrhines that are not only.
And I'm gonna do another portion of this show. This is the first part. I'm gonna do another part. I'm gonna do another part tomorrow. I'm gonna do the second half of this tomorrow.
Thus perpetuate and erode solution, especially since these groups were the most transitional species.
This for what?
In this case, Agipithecus was an ape-like monkey believed to be ancestral to Proconsul, a monkey-like ape and the forerunner of all hominoidea. The implication is inescapable even when there is a concentrated effort to avoid using the word monkey in a context which includes the apes. And that's especially odd since the general public commonly recognizes chimpanzees and even gorillas as monkeys. If they're not monkeys, then what's the difference between them? Especially since every ape, extant or extinct, including man himself, meet all the criteria of that clade. Regardless of the outraged objections often raised by
fitting that clade.
Whether classified by features or phylogeny, humans and other apes are uneschewably monkeys, both by definition and derivation.
You're a fucking monkey, mate.
Fucking monkey, mate. You're a fucking monkey, mate. Fucking simian. I refrain from even using the term, but you just say simian. But hopefully, you're a fucking monkey. Let's face it, it doesn't really matter if apes are called monkeys. It don't matter. Why y'all fussing? It don't matter. It is what it is. A colloquial term. It's not a scientific term anyway. Simian. They're simians. Not all primates, because you got the lemur form, they're not simians. Tasers are not simians. But tasers form a clade with us through the Haplorini clade. And then we go into the simian clade. When I mean we, I'm talking about hominoids, Cerapithosaurs, which is our clade cousins through the Catarrhines, and the Platyrines, who are our basal cousins, or it'd be like that'd be like a aunt cousin, because the sister branch of that was Catarrhines, was our direct common root to becoming, the Homo sapiens later on through the hominoids. Okay, monkey is a more generic term than ape which means it's not very accurate or meaningful. Meanwhile, talking about apes, therefore, is not really very appropriate unless the person using the term has a limited ability to identify very characteristic primates. You hear that said? You hear that, Bobby? Therefore, it is only very appropriate unless the person using the term has a limited ability identifying very characteristic primates. I don't have that problem. These are good reasons for not using the term monkey when referring to an ape. That's true. But nevertheless, that's from a colloquial, that's from the basic. But nevertheless, an ape is still a monkey. So feel free to criticize the use of monkey when referring to a chimpanzee, for example, but don't do it by saying that chimps aren't monkeys, because you'd be the one who is wrong, at least from a cladistic perspective. You're wrong, from a cladistic perspective. You're wrong, Cedric, from a cladistic perspective. Mixing it in with that colloquial shit. That's why I say use the scientific terms, but you will end up catching lacking. You be caught lacking. Using just them willy-nilly colloquial terms for shit. It ain't no monkeys. And if it'd be a monkey, apes. If you use these terms, apes will be monkeys. Because monkey can only fit in a cladistic standpoint with simians. That's it. Humans or simians. Humans are hominoid simians. Humans are Catarrhini simians. Humans are Haplorini primates. And then humans are primates. It goes in the order like that, in that order. These are a good reason for not using the term monkey when referring to an ape, but nevertheless, an ape is still a monkey. So feel free to criticize the use of monkey when referring to a chimpanzee, for example, but don't do it by saying that chimps aren't monkeys, because you'll be the one wrong, at least from a cladistic perspective. So when you do all that shit, that's just the pop culture shit. This was from this was from Paleo Visvardi, zoology curator at National Museum of Ireland. He's zoology curator. So he knows his shit. He got a degree. You gotta have a degree in that. You gotta have a degree in that field to be. He could have been anything. He probably could have been an anthropologist. You gotta have some type of degree to be a zoology curator for the Museum of Ireland. And don't be saying, oh, he's just a curator for the museum, No, he's a zoology curator. He's putting the animals and shit together in that museum. Whatever the display has got some shit to do with some fucking zoo type shit. Don't play with me. Don't do the red herring shit with me. Too smart for that. Been in this shit too fucking long. Now, like it or love it, like it or love it, I'm gonna show y'all something. We're gonna get more into this on the second show tomorrow. I'm gonna do the second show tomorrow. I'm gonna go in. Hopefully, my boy Ngozi can get on tonight. I'm gonna show you this, right? I'm gonna show y'all this young sister here. Good sick Simian, right? Her real name is Erica Matthews. She got credentials. She just so happened to be a YouTuber. Yeah, she's a YouTuber. But guess what? She's an expert too. You don't have to do the papers and all this shit to be no expert. She got the degree. She can write the papers if she want to. But she's doing this YouTube shit to pay for her other degree. See, watch this. Good Sick Simian, Erica. Erica from Good Rich Simian, Erica Matthews. Check her out on YouTube. Check her out on Facebook. About let you know I'm not just showing you some bullshit. You can even look up look up on Facebook, see what this, you can see the school she went to, and you can look up at her school. And it say graduate. It say no papers because she's under the academic account, but it say no preview papers yet. But she's currently in school too. She's currently in school. She's doing this YouTube to pay for us. I don't know what her goal is, but she's an expert. She got credentials. Welcome to Gut Sick Giving. I'm Erica, a current PhD student in biological anthropology. That's what she's in school for now. You thought you had me. She's a current student PhD. That's what she's in school for now. I'm Erica, a current PhD student in biological anthropology. I have a master's of research. I have a master's of research degree in primate biology. Expert on this shit. The source. A source. I have a master's of research degree. You can even look up on college. Go to her Facebook, see what college is, look it up. Look at Black her name, Erica Matthews. I have a master's degree in primate biology, behavior, and conversation with a BSA in professional animal science and minors in anthropology and biology. Expert. So happened to be a YouTuber. She chose to be a YouTuber. It happens. 2020. This is what happens in 2020. Expert. She jumped on your shit. She's the expert. She got the paperwork to prove it. She got the schooling to prove it. Fuck the paper. Everybody don't write papers. Some people blog. 2020. Leaky Foundation has a blog channel. Yeah, they got their papers and shit, credentials and shit. But that was a blog channel you showed me. And I showed too. But they all were experts. They kicked their shoes off and all that, but all experts. And Bobby, bro, there wasn't an advanced question. You didn't ask about monophyletically. You didn't ask from a cladistic perspective about or humans, monkeys. Because you probably would have got a different answer. You act the layman, like we were just talking about, that fit into that colloquial scenario. The basics. I wasn't trying to have a basic conversation in pseudo killers. I thought that's where we could have the advanced shit. That's where we could have the battles, the real conversations. But no, y'all don't want to have those conversations. That's the real, that's what the science is having the conversations about. The biology, no matter what media platform they own, they're the source. If Neil deGrasse Tyson, his blog, which is a podcast is a blog, a video blog, podcast, same thing, synonymous. Neil Tyson deGrasse, Star Talk, is a source. That man opened his mouth, that's a source. He's the expert. He jump on anybody channel, whatever. He's the expert. Expert. Just like Richard Carrier. You know, a lot of people debate with him. He's peer-reviewed too. It's just a little extra. But he's an expert. He got the degrees. Got the credentials. So it can yet. He don't got no books. He got journals. You don't have to have journals. But he's an expert. You don't gotta be a professor. You could be a professor if you wanna be. You could just have the degree and do whatever the fuck you wanna. You can wipe your ass with the degree. You a fucking expert, huh? This sister here, Erica Matthews, an expert in master of research in primatology, primate biology, that is. She be banging on it. She be bang. You want some flat earth points? She be banging on them flat earthers. And them ages. You might have seen them. Gut sick Gibbon. I like the name. It's creative. But she's an expert. Okay. Let me say it like this. Okay. Watch this. She gonna win on here. But I'm really gonna win on her other thing tomorrow. Let me show you an introduction to it. You know, she ain't playing with y'all. We ain't playing with y'all with this standpoint, what we trying to say. If you want to use the colloquial term, just say Simian, then you don't like it. From a cladistic viewpoint, humans are monkeys. Here she go. Primatology, proof, and the human monkey. The source, she's the source. Okay, good over. There we go.
Erica?
Run a YouTube channel. It's called what?
It is called Gutsick Gibbon.
I need more. Like I need an explanation. What is
It's, you know, I get asked this question often as you would think. And unfortunately, no one is ever satisfied with the answer because it's not that funny. But I cartoons and animations in a lot of my videos, and I had drawn this sickly looking little gibbon, right, around the time that I decided I was going to get in fights with people on the debate evolution subreddit. So I titled my account there Gut Sick Gibbon because the gibbon in his sick gut, I guess. It sounded really good in my head. I was like, it's a Reddit account. Right?
Well, I have a confession to make. I hadn't been introduced to you until that in Faithless form. And I saw you on panel. Not only are you very knowledgeable on the subject that we're about to speak about, but you have an unbridled enthusiasm, like it contagious.
It's hard not to be. It's so mind-bogglingly incredible.
Okay, now hang on. I got to interrupt you. Your area of expertise, your focus is what?
I am, by training, technically a primatologist, and looking to further that with my current PhD program in biological anthropology, so specifically the study of evolution. Think the folks who go out and find hominids like Lucy or Homo erectus or Neanderthals.
See, she's in training. That's what she's in training for. But she's gonna tell you what she's watch. She's gonna tell you what she's actually got a degree. That's what she's in training for. But watch what she got though. Shit.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Please. Whatever on.
Okay.
I am, by training, technically a
By training.
and looking to further that program, biological anthropology, so specifically, think the folks who go out and find like erectus or Neanderthals, things like that. But my classical training that is completed as of right now is living primates.
Living primates. That's her finished. That's her degree in living primates. She got that degree. She's an expert in that, and she's training in the biological anthropology. Or it's like the like the old shit, like the archaic shit and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Going back to the DNA and biological. You know what I'm saying? The biological anthropology for us, like what Richard, we got no more for the DNA, but it's genetics, but more like what Richard Dawkins, Richard Dawkins at the beginning, but she has a degree already, a finished degree in primatology, primate biology. So she know her shit.
I'm a creative being. I mean, there are humans and there are animals.
Of course, very different.
Yeah.
Yes, very different.
All right. Someone comes to you and they say, "My grandfather wasn't a monkey. I'm not a chimpanzee." You know, they come out with higher arguments against evolution or shared ancestry with our primates. Am I still a monkey? Am I?
Yes.
Yep.
It's incredible to really go through the entire. I'll be briefer than I did.
When she break it down, like I broke it down.
People who are
Better stop fucking with Gullah.
like very much like milk or any ferment. But they tend to draw the line of primates. And I've never understood that because I think that there is, as Darwin said, grander and this is one. But you are definitively, objectively, not only are you a primate, but you are also a haploride primate.
Haploride.
You are a
Dry nose. Got the rainy, downward nose,
You're a hominid.
hominid,
Member
yep.
of the genus Homo.
Hominid, Homo
All
sapien.
of the traits out of the
Have it now.
life, those categories. So there has been an accusation that evolution forced it. The taxonomy that we work with today was invented, if you will, conceived by Carl Linnaeus.
Carl Linnaeus, old ass. But he did create the nested hierarchy. It's up and it's stuck.
I would bring down, the ire of all the theologians if I were to say, but I can think of no reason by which to create that. He said this when he got the get gander at only a human skeleton, right? We are what they are, and everything that is unique morphologically or physically about us is just a tweak already to structure. This one is way less incredible. And there are, of course, things that humans do that are unique, but they are a product of smaller changes that exist in us.
So the hair on our arms and legs, chest, etc. It's a holdover from my primate relative. Yeah.
It certainly is. In fact, you have the same number of follicles on your body as people our hair is
Same amount.
female, but I still have hair on my face, very fine. And like chimps, we don't have hair as palms of our hands. We are, grossly enough, primarily different from them is that we are sweaters. We are sweaty beings. The reason that it's proposed that our hair went by the wayside is thermal regulation, running on the open savanna.
Yep, we Savannah. As I said, we Savannah Simians.
It makes sense.
Homo sapiens or Savannah Simians.
The hair of the horse, right? It's still there. And you're
Savannah monkey. You're a Savannah monkey. Savannah monkey. You hear me? If you want to be colloquial.
yes, as a human, there's a complicated aspect of kind of that or child that less likely to food, like harder foods and less sugar. So it's not like we've degraded, and that's why we have to get our out. We just don't hard enough stuff when we're young. But your apish heirlooms are all over your body. You're covered in nerve. You have the same dental patterns that you have. 2, 1, 2, and 5, 2 creative, right? You have the same number of rods and cones in your eyes, and your brain is organized exactly. You have
Yeah. Yeah. Stop trying to delineate. Stop trying to delineate.
but they can't throw, for the back. The horrible birds, they lob the thing. Their fingers, just like they all kinds of things. Why is that? Because with that branch, you don't want to bring the snails into your home. So we just flat down. Trees have rollable shoulder joints. There's no reason, quote unquote, for humans to be able to raise their arms up like this with their heads, right? But we descend from critters that lived in the tree. This was a really necessary thing. It's also all over us. I mean, they share 98.8, and they share more with us. This will blow my mind. They share more with us genetically than they do with the gorilla. So not only are they our closest living relative, we're their closest living relative as well.
Yep.
It's inescapable.
Yeah,
You
inescapable.
can go into retroviruses.
You with the Hominini tribe, you never can escape that. Never can escape that classification clump.
We are special.
You can clump it together.
Follow the work
Yep,
your
yep.
inner fish. That's counterintuitive. And I'm
You're in a fish.
no way. Right? I mean, I know that we have
You better stop fucking with me.
But I'm related to fish,
I ain't the one, Cedric Ortega.
television version. Yes, but
So it's fascinating how much of our space in utero
Talking about some elephant and shit that's polyphyletic. We related just as mammals, that's far ago, but we were primate. You in the same order, clade,
right?
monophyletically.
Dolphins, whales, for a very brief period, they have tiny lymph nodes that grow and then they terminate. They live on the water. Why is that? It's kind of sexual stress. It's also recognized there's something called real high little book now. Every water has it. No other animal show up. Same way that we carry our airways, then our monkey airways, then our Oma Mayan airways, all the way down. We all carry what Darwin says, the stamp of our Lulu origin. But I think it's much more incredible than that.
intelligent designers, creationists. I mean, they're not always the same thing. I understand how they have maneuvered away from creation. They imply they
Oh yeah.
try to remain relevant, teach the controversy. Well, no, I think it's even religion and science are non-overlapping. I don't know, can religion and science play together?
There are folks that disagree with me on this. I know many excellent scientists who are
Francis Collins, right, at the Human Genome Project, who was a proponent of evolution.
genetic action or a finger touching on the water, right? To spark life in the first place, guided evolution perhaps. And from my perspective as someone who is involved with science, so long as you accept the principles and methodology of science and you don't
Argument or proof you hear in part.
absolutely think
There's
my
more than
gosh.
one.
I mean, for me, it's because,
Here and part of you dies in the sun. Or maybe
oh
there's
my
more than
gosh.
one.
I mean, for me, so because I do human evolution, right? The biggest one that gets there are no transition losses. That's the way. Look at the hominids, the 21 plus hominids. And they'll say, well, they can all be categorized as either human or ape, which is hysterical because that's like saying that all of the dog lineage can be categorized as dog or canine, right? It's like they are canines in the same way that ape. But the lineage of human hominids going back is so ridiculously smooth that on my trip to the Creation Museum recently, I noticed that they just frankly omitted several. Also, the Istiniva and Homo habilis, and little fence three hominids that have an intermediate brain case size between human and but are definitively bipedal, with the creature that's walking upright on 2 feet, 5,000. And then they've got this intermediate brain case size, approximately 500. So what do you do with that as your creation? How do you cope with God creating a organism that is a perfect someone response to this is generally either ignoring it or something just outrageous, like saying, well, most transitional states are okay. How about the transition after the skull, where it's moderately prognostic, and it's got a medium brain state. That's not like a mixed, right? And that's to say nothing where we'll find, hands are two humans, those are from but the arm is actually from man. So interesting. How come they articulate together? Why were they found in articulation as kind of modern forensics? That's how it's still connected. And then at that point,
The Creation Museum, I mean, you made it all the way through without putting your head through one of the dinosaur displays.
Allosaurus's ghost is probably like just writhing in agony of where it's being placed. All the places. Well-sourced, greatest hit. I mean, like, it's quite a narrative. And so I asked creationists.
I was impressed by it. I was actually like,
Our closest living relatives today are far more than the average. They have politics. And at the same time, they repair their war comfort when everyone is true. Bonobos are by contrast highly they're unbiased. And the females use these same coalition yet they more than the males who are as close to the other. This is very reminiscent of societies today. Coalitions among social groups, that you use to make yourself feel more powerful. Yet they laugh. Right? They have so they recognize family. Right? They're capable of sticks of their mothers teach their babies how to use their favorite types of walks for food, tackle the nuts, right? They recognize caregivers, human caregivers, they have the same and of course, that's the right? They tend to invite people when they go in the water. They hold their little arms up and they wade through the water to get the treatment. There have been many cases where chimps are horrible swimmers. They'll end up in the water and they'll drown, and their compatriots will lose their mind and risk themselves. Oh, they're fighting out of the water. You don't get it.
We'll show another video tomorrow with your boy Amara.
But altruistic red token because they want to help their friends, right? And they do it just like their friends. Of course, so they are like us, but more active.
Yeah.
Put a cap on that. What was famous? That humans do, all other animals.
Yeah, this one I really don't look at. Watch this.
So is it biological or a chimp, a monkey for that matter? This brings to light one of the most misunderstood concepts in biology.
Must stop. Push pause on it right here. Tomorrow, we're gonna continue this. So we've been going in on days in the pseudo killers back chat or whatever. Back and forth with Cedric Ortega and Bobby Bank. We've been going back and forth. I'm gonna continue this tomorrow. I'm gonna bang on this some more. I'm gonna drive by on this some more tomorrow. I'm gonna talk about this subject matter. Hopefully Ngozi can join. I don't know what happened. He was trying to get in, but hopefully he can join tomorrow, man. I'm gonna be out. Peace, love. We're gonna get it in. I'm gonna show some more show some more articles. Please hit articles more, and I'm gonna show some more videos. Please hit and like the channel, Algae East Podcast. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, get more shows like this, Bill. We're gonna get it in. We're gonna talk about this cladistic thing, this primatology thing. You gotta know what you are. You gotta know what type of animals, humans are animals. You gotta know what type of animal you are. You gotta know what type of animal you are. You're a simian. You gotta be careful with that monkey word, because you might just look in the mirror and that simian just might be that monkey in you. I'm out. I'm a colloquial standpoint.